Okay, now we discuss the story of Adam and Eve, and we put that in context with respect to the many wild theorems that exist today. In the past, we never deduced that there could be parallel universes, yeah, and what choice means for those, yeah. But the Genesis story touches on it a little bit, and it was always confusing, but the revelations from scripture, yeah, will happen in time as our knowledge of nature increases. Like I alluded to in my past videos, we did the Adam and Eve did steal from the tree of knowledge, yeah, but many especially atheists, many people nowadays, they suggest that the Almighty is incompetent because they argue that if he knew they were going to steal from that tree, why did he expose it to them? We expose them to it. Yeah. And this is an outdated uh, question. Yeah, it's obsolete because when you have the many worlds theory, it becomes obsolete. Yeah, because choice is what creates the many worlds. One theory goes that every time you make a choice, many worlds open up. Yeah, so God gave us choice. Yeah, so he gave them choice. So to the Almighty, it wouldn't even matter what choice they made. The choice they made only matters to them. What universe do they want to see after that choice? Yeah. So you see, when you relate modern day science to scripture, it still holds good. Because now you ask yourself, you can't look at God as being incompetent if you know about the many worlds theory. Yeah. So whether there is a universe out there where they didn't choose to eat from the tree of knowledge and they remained in Eden. It just happens that we're living in a universe where they did. That's all it means. So this also implies that the Almighty is also the Almighty of many universes out there, which are none of our concern. Yeah, which to us they don't exist. So there's really no point in him troubling our minds with them. He does reveal one or two, hell and heaven, but they are many worlds described in scripture. Many worlds. Yeah. So choice determines what you see. Yeah. They made a choice, and this is what we see. Yeah. There is a universe where they chose something else. They chose the opposite, and in that universe we see some they people who live in the equivalent uh, time or era to us. I've got different concerns and a different lifestyle and a different outlook, and everything's completely different from where it is now. Yeah. So by making that choice, they lost Eden. Yeah. And Eden disappeared, and we see this world without it. Yeah. So if you do get into a situation where you think what these atheists are saying is actually correct, they're not, because they're a bit outdated when it comes to science. They were converted by people who wrote books 10 years ago, 15 years ago, and these are people who when the many worlds theory was still in the shadows, and nobody had managed to consider how that relates to scripture. Yeah. Although Einstein was a staunch believer in the Almighty, he rejected quantum physics because he couldn't really understand the choice aspect. At that time, they hadn't really gone that deep to understand the choice aspect, and as it relates to quantum mechanics. But he said whatever theory you come up that unifies things, he's got to include the observer. So he was kind of trying to look for the unified field theory, but it's already there. I mean, consciousness is the unified field. Yeah. So the many worlds principles and postulations concerning those theories do prove that the Almighty cannot be incompetent by giving us choice. Yeah. What we choose determines what world we see after that. And that's the moral of that story. It's the moral of that story. Yeah, people talk about manifesting goodness in their life by uniting their thoughts and emotions into one entity. And obviously, this is also religious practice, and it comes from religious knowledge that you have to know as a religious person that your choices will determine what world you see. Yeah. So the question of why did he ask them, what did you do, like he didn't know. Yeah. I don't know about the Almighty, but to be everywhere at the same time and including multiple universes at the same time, yeah, you have to have intricacies, yeah, in the universes you define. When he asked them, they also had a choice at that time. They had a choice when they chose to eat from the tree of knowledge. Then they had a choice whether to lie to the Almighty or not. He's trying to fix which world they go to. Yeah. He says, right, they've chosen to do that, so I know they're going to be out of Eden anyway. We'll put them somewhere. But where? If they chose to lie to me, then we'll put them somewhere. We'll put them there. He'll know exactly where to put you with the choices you make. Yeah. So the final decision, the final specification was made when they chose to lie. To lie to the Almighty. Yeah. Or when they chose to be defensive that way. So then he knew where to put them after that. That's what I think anyway. But if you want to have the real answer, you got to ask the Almighty himself. Yeah, but I hope that answers the questions that puzzle us as believers of why does the Almighty test us? The same reason why he gives us choice. The world would be a dull place if we didn't have choice. We would be very bored if we didn't have choice. Everything would be uniform and there'll be no point of living if we don't have choice. It gets very complicated. So I'll leave you with that. Adam, Eve, and the multiverse.